Hello everybody. Today we are going to see the another concept, Amazon VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. So this is all about networking concept. In this we are going to see how we are going to create VPC, public net and public subnet and private subnet, and how to create an internet gateway and how the router is created so the traffic it is routed, those and how we are going to provide the instances or resources, that is nothing but EC2 we will see in this concept. So we will start. So what is a virtual network? A virtual network is nothing but a network which is available on the cloud, which is logically isolated and which is created within a physical network infrastructure. So generally these type of networks are used in cloud computing environments. Means what? They are isolated, they are not present on your premises, they are present at somewhere else. So that is why they are isolated. So the advantage of cloud computing, as we have been hearing, is it is scalable, and scalable means as many servers you want you can take at a time, and if you want to relieve the servers you can relieve the servers, and then they are isolated, they are not present in your premises, and flexible. So that is why we are going for virtual networks. So they resemble like a traditional network only, but they are not present in your premises. So these are virtual networks which are provided by the cloud computing environments, like Amazon is providing, Google is providing, and IBM is also providing computing environments. So the networks which are present in those places in their data centers are nothing but virtual networks. So what is a private cloud? So we have seen in types of clouds, there are different types of clouds available, like we have public cloud, we have private cloud, and we have community cloud, and we have hybrid cloud. So in VPC we are going to use something called private cloud. So private cloud is nothing but it is a computing environment which is used only by a single organization, and like unlike public cloud it is not used by multiple tenants. So private is specific for a business entity. So why we are going for private cloud is it helps us to have greater control on our resources or on our applications which we are going to run, and it helps us to have customization, and whatever security we want to provide to our applications, that can be provided with the help of private cloud. So as we have gone through what is virtual network and what is private cloud, using these two things we are going to have something called virtual private cloud, which is nothing but VPC. So a private cloud is a service that is exclusively offered for only one organization. Means what? Any organization wants to have some data center, and they want to put their applications and run applications, or they want to store the data, then in data center they are going to provide this VPC, so which will be highly secured. So it can be used, a virtual private cloud is a private cloud within a public cloud. No one else shares the VPC with the VPC customer. So it is given to a specific organization by the AWS people. So as we are going to study about AWS VPC, so it is given by AWS. So a virtual private cloud is a secure, isolated private cloud hosted within a public cloud. So that is what I was saying. Virtual networks which are available on the cloud are nothing but virtual private cloud. So VPC customers, what they can do, once this VPC is created, on that VPC they have resources available which is nothing but EC2 instances, IP addresses are provided. So on those systems they can run their code, they can store the data, they can host websites or anything else, whatever they want to do they can do in an ordinary private cloud, but it is hosted remotely by a public cloud. So as I said, this cloud is available at data centers of Amazon. So that is why it is provided by a public cloud provider. So with Amazon private cloud, you can launch AWS resources in a logically isolated virtual network that you have defined. That is nothing but a VPC which is created. It is a logically isolated network wherein you have the resources, wherein you can run your applications, store your data, or you can run your code. So VPC, what we will be having in this VPC is, we will be having subnets, and then we will be having EC2 instances, and each subnet gets connected, and if you want subnets can be private and public, and if you want subnet to access the internet, we will be going to have something called internet gateway, so that communication is done between the resources in the VPC as well as outside the VPC. So this is what it is present in availability zones. So features of VPC, if you see it is resembles, see actually it resembles like traditional network only, but the only thing is the system or the servers are not available at your place, it is provided by the cloud. So a VPC is a virtual network that closely resembles a traditional network that would operate in your own data center. After you create a VPC, you can add subnets. So what are these subnets? What are internet gateways? We will slowly see. A subnet is nothing but it is range of IP addresses in your VPC. A subnet must reside in a single availability zone. After you add subnets, you can deploy AWS resources in your VPC. That is whatever applications you want to run or whatever things you want to perform on your application, those all can be done in these subnets. So IP addressing is given. So both IPv4 and IPv6 addressing can be done, and then you can use them to allocate AWS resources in your VPC, such as instances, NAT gateways and network load balancers. So routing is done because we want to route the traffic, so we use something called route tables. So using those route tables, we are going to route the traffic inside your VPC in different subnets, private and public subnets, or outside. Using public subnet, you can access the traffic of outside through internet. So routing is required, for that we create route tables, and then we have gateways to access our internet. A gateway connects your VPC to another network. For example, use an internet gateway to connect to VPC to the internet. Use a VPC endpoint to connect to AWS services privately without the use of internet gateway or NAT device. So this is how the VPC looks like. So in VPC, what we have, the outer box is nothing but this is our AWS cloud account. So this thing which we are seeing, this is nothing but our AWS account which is given in a particular region. So when you create your account, at that time you decide which region you want. So that is what is your region, and then inside this you are going to create your something called you have some availability zone. So in AWS there are different availability zones available. So you will be having different availability zones. Inside this you are going to create your VPC. VPC is nothing but the data center which you are going to create on the AWS account, which you are going to use to run your applications or store data. So VPC is created. So inside this VPCs you will have something called subnets. Either the subnet can be private or public. So if you want this subnet which is going to have instances, if you want to access the things from this subnet to outside internet, so we will make this subnet as public. But if you want to don't allow access to your things inside these instances, you will make this subnet as private. Suppose if you take a web application will have two things. One, the web pages which are available of that organization. So that web pages you want them to access by everybody. So those things should be made public. So those things whichever are you want to make public, those are kept inside public subnet, and through internet gateway anybody on the internet can access it. But some things like database, your database which you don't want everybody to access, then you need to keep it in a safe place. That is nothing but that we are going to put inside something called private subnet. So this way we are going to create this VPC. Inside that we will be having private and public subnets, and to access the internet traffic inside and out, then we have internet gateway, and then we also have something called route table, so that we can route the traffic from the internet or between the different subnets inside the VPC. Route tables are also going to create. So this is how the structure looks like. So whenever you create a VPC, these all things will come inside the VPC. So who needs a VPC? So the companies that need a private cloud environment So you need say VPC, which is but also want cloud, public cloud resources and savings they want. So as I said, savings are always important. Why? Because if you have to run your application, you have to buy your own infrastructure, it is too costly. So as we are going to use, some applications are used only for some time and then they are not used. So we need not have infrastructure all the time. For some time in the year we want that. So in this case we can have savings. We can have the savings by using the cloud environment. Whenever we want to use, we use it, and whenever we don't want to use, we will not use it. So, and benefits of using a VPC. So what is the benefit? Minimize downtime. Like I suppose if you are maintaining servers at your place, there is always a possibility your servers may crash down, and then your server may get down and your application cannot be accessed by people around the world. So with AWS, they are going to provide reliable service so that no downtime will be coming. Next, reduce risk. As there is always a possibility, there is always a risk that your server may go down and you get losses and all. So if you are having this cloud Amazon VPC, then Amazon, you are having on cloud your VPC, then your data center is available, you need not worry about, you need not take any risk. Flexibility, as we said, some time in the year you want more servers, some other time in the year you want less servers, your application needs less infrastructure. At that time you can either go for increasing or scaling up your servers and resources whichever you want, and the other time you can scale down your resources. Cost saving, as I said, whenever you use, at that time only you have to pay. You need not pay the whole year. If you are taking some servers for some time and relieving them, you need not pay the other time, the time when you are relieving. It means you do not pay the whole year. So that is what it is, cost saving. So these are the benefits of VPC. Thank you. This we have seen the theoretical thing. Next session we will be having the practical how to create this VPC through the hands on.